A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Okay, no, maybe not a long time ago, like 2-3 years ago, and by a galaxy far, far away, I mean here. We had ourselves what was an implemented idea in our heads as to how the 2022 NHL entry draft would go on. A few years ago, we were talking about guys like Jack Hughes and Capo Caco at the top of the 2019 draft. Eventually, it was Lafreniere and Byfield at 2020's draft. And in this time frame, we all kind of had this predetermined notion in our heads that, sure, Jack Hughes is good. Alexis Lafreniere, he's good. Even the guys in 2021. Supposedly Aatu Ratu was going to go first overall, and he was supposed to be pretty alright too, but 2022 and 2023 were the 2 years that things were going to get nutty. And 2022 specifically had 3 guys at the top of that draft that were projected to being at that same tier of a Jack Hughes or even an Alexis Lafreniere. A few years ago, it wasn't clear whether or not Shane Wright would go first overall in 2022, because we had 3 guys that were all so talented that we all had discussions going on saying, okay, I like this guy better. No, I like this other guy better. A few years ago, Shane Wright wasn't the unanimous first overall guy to be for 2022. It was split between Wright, Matthew Savoie, as well as this player right here that we're discussing in the 3rd episode of Why I Want, which is why we're making this the 3rd video, Brad Lambert. Now, just for a little bit more context, Lambert is not supposed to go 3rd overall anymore. He's not projected to go anywhere near that in the slightest, but he still is a guy that I do think warrants discussion, and as a result, because his name has been so high profile the last few seasons, we need to go over this player, talk about where he's been, talk about why his draft stock has fallen, and whether or not that falling is all too deserved. So, let's go over the profile right here. Brad Lambert is a Finnish hockey player. Yeah, that's right. He is the most North American-sounding Finn you will ever see, and it's because he's actually got Canadian citizenship. His father actually played hockey in North America for the NCAA, as well as the Saskatoon Blades in the WHL. Today, he is a skills coach in Finland. So, Brad Lambert is the son, and he was born in Finland. It's why he is there with the name that he has. However, Brad Lambert is a name that you've heard about for a while now. He's 17 years old, 6 feet, 179, and he's a center right-wing player with a right-handed shot. As we noted earlier on in his draft career, he was seen as a potential first overall pick alongside of the Shane Wrights and the Matthew Savoies, because as early as 2019-20, Brad Lambert was going out there doing things that nobody else had done before at such a high level of play. In 2019-20, the guy was only 15 years old, so keep in mind as we talk about the numbers here, his age, 15 turning 16. He was a guy playing for the U20 SM Liiga for HIFK, getting 38 points in 42 games. Now, that in itself is a pretty good number, especially in a junior league, but as a 15-year-old playing against 18, 19, 20-year-olds putting up a point per game, Brad Lambert was in a league of his own. Eventually, he made the Liiga, and as a 15 turning 16-year-old, he put up 2 points in 4 games, and I think those 2 points came in 1 game. It was his 2nd game, and he actually broke Alex Barkov's Liiga record of youngest player to score a multi-point game in the league's history. So, already, he had that label of doing things that nobody else had ever done before. I believe this was right before the pandemic hit, and it was a really good high note for Brad Lambert to end off that season. Also for Team Finland, at levels of international play, he was going out there producing numbers despite the fact that he was only 16 years old, so very good for him to see that. You also had yourselves the season he had last year with JYP Jyväskylä, getting 15 points in 46 games played, again as a young player, as a 16-year-old this time. He also suited up for Team Finland at the World Juniors, getting 4 points in 7 games played. And when the World Juniors took place in January of 2021, Brad Lambert had only recently turned 17 years old. He was 16 just a few weeks prior, and he was going out there doing some really good things like being put on top power play units and dashing through defenses with speed and control. This season, his numbers have taken a dip, but it's kind of why we have to talk about him here. So, where last season he had 15 points in 46 games, this year he's got 5 points in 22 games played with JYP Jyväskylä, so it's not a good progression per se. As a result, you take a look at where Lambert is in the consolidated ranking. He's ranked 7th in terms of the totality list, but every other place has a little bit of a different flavor for this ranking right here. 13th overall by Elite Prospects, 3rd by Future Considerations, 3rd by TSN and Bob McKenzie, 10th by McKean's, 17th by Craig Button, 15th by Sportsnet, 3rd by Recruit Scouting, 5th Dobber Prospects, 2nd overall by Draft Prospects Hockey, 3rd by Smart Scouting, and 6th by the Puck Authority. It's all over the place here for Brad Lambert. Button has him at 17, McKenzie has him at 3. What's happened here, and what makes him so special that some people still have him as high as 2nd overall, even though his numbers have taken a dip? When I watch Brad Lambert play, it's always been sort of a similar pattern the past few seasons. If I had to describe his game in 2 words, it would be quick and nifty. He's a guy who plays with some very quick stick handles, he's lightning quick and agile, and he's not afraid to bust out a nifty dangle once in a while at high speed. He's got a solid backhand on the rush, which he actually uses quite frequently, but when Lambert is playing his best, he's a guy who's taking the puck in his own zone and finding the slight gaps in between opposition defenses and exploiting those gaps, dashing right through with a burst of speed. This guy can go Connor McDavid style on teams quite regularly, and it's kind of funny that I'm saying it like that because obviously Connor McDavid is a once-in-a-generation kind of talent, but like, Brad Lambert, so frequently in the World Juniors and at the Liiga level, is able to just easily pitter-patter and zip by guys in the neutral zone, break into the offensive zone with control, stop up into a corner, and find the pass to an open player. He is a one-man break-in machine who controls the play with his pace, and he plays so well when the puck is on his stick. If he gets challenged, he's not afraid to bust out a dangle to get by somebody, and even if the pass that he gets to get the puck in the first place isn't a good one, he'll very frequently put the puck through his legs or receive it on the backhand and spin it around to control it properly. He's got a really flexible and creative skill set when it comes to just keeping the puck on his stick. He's got really wide vision and very creative playmaking, and his shot is effective as well. He can one-time the puck, he can lock and load and shoot. We noted his backhand already, but what I also noticed is that he's really strong when it comes to going for rebounds and follow-ups. He's not afraid to always go forward in front of the net and try to bat in those pucks that he shoots himself or that teammates throw on net. He'll always find himself dashing to the front of the net, trying to get those rebounds, getting some good secondary opportunities, even though he is very well capable of scoring those beautiful goals on his own too. There was a highlight of him when he was only like 15, 16 years old in a Liiga shootout or something, where he came in on the goaltender, deked super far to the left, and he kind of deceived everybody with the way his skates were angled before quickly cutting over to the right and swooping the puck into an open side. He's just a really interesting combination of speed, agility, control, and just overall hockey decision-making that you don't really see in players that exhibit those traits. Now, when it comes to his slow start this season, as we noted, the production is not there compared to where you want it to be. Here's an interview that Brad Lambert did with The Pipeline Show. It's a podcast where they talk about NHL prospects, and the article on NHLEntryDraft.com on Future Considerations goes over what exactly Brad has to say about his slow start and how he personally feels about his draft stock lowering. So, the host of the show, Guy Fleming, asks him, "You had 15 points in 46 games last year with this team. This year you've got 5 points in 19 games at the time of the recording. I know a lot of people were making a lot about it was a slow start statistically for you this year. Any reason for that, you think? Or was it maybe getting overblown in your opinion?" Brad says, "Yeah, I think I'm playing well. I'm getting the chances and just not able to score on my chances. Not getting a lot of puck luck and stuff. But I've been trying to shoot more and get into the middle more. Get a little more aggressive and try to get more chances that way, and maybe they'll start going in." Injury along the way? Yeah, I had 2 injuries, and then I was sick once, so I've been in and out of the lineup. They talk a little bit about the World Juniors. Hey, Brad Lambert actually made that team, even though he is an underage player. He made the team last year, too, and was pretty good, so I would have been surprised had he not been included this season. But Lambert himself also says that when it comes to these statistics, it's been difficult for him to look at the stats and see the numbers not going up. Like he said earlier, he hasn't had a lot of puck luck, but he thinks he's getting the chances and he thinks they will eventually start going in. They'll start going in a lot more, and maybe all of a sudden he can get a 3 or 4 point game or something like that, and then they'll just start coming. So it's been a hard start to the year, not scoring the way he would like to, but you can't worry about it too much as long as you're getting chances. Before we end off this video, I'll go over one more answer that Brad Lambert has in this Pipeline Show interview. Now, how much is the NHL draft on your mind? Fleming says. Lambert replies and he says, yeah, I mean, I don't like to look at the rankings and you can go up and down so quickly, but I definitely use the draft as fuel. I mean, it's my draft year and obviously I know that and I think it helps motivate you for every game and every practice just a little bit more. So yeah, I definitely don't like to think about it too much and kind of try to treat it as just another year, but the extra motivation you can get from it, I think, is good. The full interview is also linked in this article. It's on the Pipeline Show RSS feed, so you can go ahead and listen to that if you want. But that has been Brad Lambert over here. He's a guy that was projected to being a potential franchise-caliber guy just a few seasons ago, but his slow start to the year this year has pushed him so far draft rankings that some have him as low as 15. Talk to me in the comments, what do you think about Brad Lambert and his overall profile? I'm a really big fan still. I do think this guy still has #1 center potential in the National Hockey League despite the slow start. However, if you're going to get this guy, let's say past like 7th or 8th overall, I think this is one of those cases where in a few seasons it will be kind of hilarious how far he would have slipped. So, talk to me in the comments what do you think about Lambert and his overall profile. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.